Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day and I'd like to give you some great reasons to get down to your local comic shop and pick up something fun to read. It's a great week packed with lots of good stuff. Going to start with the DC guys. This is Batman the Red Death. This is one of your metal books for the week. This cover might be a bit of a spoiler if you haven't already read Metal number 2. But most people have. It was our biggest seller in a long time. Everybody's into this metal stuff. And everybody's, of course, into Batman. I think you get the gist of it from the cover there. Good, nice and shiny, like all this metal stuff's been. Nightwing is your other metal book for the week. One of my favorite DC titles, one of my favorite DC characters, one of the really solid Rebirth books. It was a really solid New 52 book, for that matter. Cool Mr. Freeze cover there. And speaking of Mr. Freeze, here he is on the cover of Batman, number 30 or 31, I guess this is. That's your War of Jokes and Riddles. Another one of the hugest books in comics. Everybody's been into this stuff. Wanted to say one of the best Joker stories in a while, but shoot, that would mean put it up there with Death in the Family and stuff. But anywho, everybody's reading this one and doesn't need much plug. Everybody loves Batman. Harley Quinn. Another one of DC's bigger titles. Can't say enough about this lady. Except that we've got the huge Harley Quinn Day event coming up this Saturday. A little more on that later. Batwoman rounds out your Bat stuff for the week. This is one of the Bat books that might be flying under your radar, but if so, you might want to jump into that one. Good stories, good art. Superman. Can't say enough about Big Blue. This book has been huge. Here he is taking on Deathstroke. Can't say enough about how big Action Comics has been. If you missed the Action Comics issue last week, you're going to want to grab one of those before next week's number 988. All this super stuff is going to be building toward number 1000 and the Doomsday Clock and etc. etc. A lot going on in the DCU these days. Super Sons is your other super book of the week. Another book everybody's into. Everybody's loving Damian. Everybody's getting into the new Superboy. Good stuff. Trinity and Justice League are your Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman team-up books of the week. Once again, Justice League is one of the biggest books in comics. Some of DC's top titles are out this week. So if you're a DC fan, you're really excited to get in and get your stuff. If you're not a DC fan, it's a good time to be jumping into some things like Green Arrow with these really awesome Neal Adams B covers. Everybody loves those Neal Adams classic covers. Green Arrow's really been picking up since about issue number 25, so if this is one that fell off your list or if you haven't been checking it out, you may want to grab some recent issues and see what all the hubbub's about. Green Lanterns. It's your Lanterns book of the week. Always encouraging you guys to have one of these on your list. Lanterns or Hal Jordan. They've been doing a good job with this stuff. And Aquaman rounds out your Rebirth stuff proper. But as always, there's more DC things to talk about. How about a couple intercompany crossovers, like Wonder Woman 77 and the Bionic Woman? This is your last issue of this one. It's been a 6-issue mini. We've got all 6 in stock, or you can pick up the pack if you want the whole set. It's one of the best team-up ideas that come along in a long time. If you're a classic Wonder Woman fan like me, or if you're a 70s TV shows fan like me, if you're 100 years old like me, grab that first issue and catch up to all 6 of them, because that book's been a lot of fun. Speaking of Wonder Woman and intercompany crossovers, Wonder Woman Conan is another one of the best ideas in comics that's come out in a long time. I love these DC Dark Horse crossovers. They go way back. Many of you might remember Batman Predator, Superman Alien. I think there was a Green Lanterns Alien. Dark Horse is the master of intercompany crossover, and like I say, this one is really super awesome. So if you're a fan of either of these characters, or if you just like some good old butt-kicking comics, pick up Wonder Woman Conan this week, because that's awesome. Injustice 2. Future Quest, starring Space Ghost. Can't say enough about that one. Love me some Space Ghost, love me some Future Quest. Been talking for a while about this DC Hanna-Barbera stuff they've been doing. They got a trade paperback this week of some of the previous DC Hanna-Barbera that they've done. And Wildstorm from the all-time great Warren Ellis rounds out your DC stuff for the week. Great week for those guys. Huge week for the Marvel guys. Kind of always a huge week for Marvel, but it's a particularly huge week for Star Wars. I know I usually start with the super stuff, but lots of Star Wars to talk about this week. This is annual number 3. You can read more about this one in our newsletter. Double-sized, self-contained, just super cool Star Wars-ness. So again, if this is falling off your list, or if you're not currently checking out the Star Wars stuff, doesn't tie into the main series, doesn't tie into the other titles, just grab this one and see why I'm always saying what a great job Marvel's doing with their Star Wars stuff. If that one doesn't hook you, how about some Captain Phasma number 2? Marvel always has some ongoings and some minis rolling out. Captain Phasma is the current mini-series. This is the second issue. We've still got number 1 in stock. One of the cooler characters of the new movies, along with this guy, Poe Dameron, allegedly the best pilot in the galaxy. Though I think Han Solo might have something to say about that. This is one of their ongoing titles, along with Star Wars The Main Book and Darth Vader. Again, if you're not following some of the Marvel Star Wars stuff, you're going to want to jump into that because it's great stuff. And I still have more Star Wars to talk about in a little bit. Good week for Spider-Man, too. Here's your latest issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Harkens back to the old 70s title that, again, if you're 100 years old like me, you remember the original Spectacular Spider-Man, and it was awesome. This is number 4. We've got the others in stock. If you want to jump in on that. Spider-Man 2. Co-starring Miles Morales, where we find out who is the Miles Morales in the old 616 universe. Good stuff. And Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows rounds out your spider stuff, unless you count Venom and or Venomverse. Been a lot of this Venom stuff going on lately. Everybody's into that guy, especially building up to his big movie. X-Men Gold and Jean Grey are your X books of the week. Here in the latest issue of Jean Grey, she's taken on the Scarlet Witch. One of the, you may not know it, but this little battle goes all the way back to X-Men number 4, the first appearance of Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, way back at the dawn of the Silver Age. Really excited to check this one out because everybody knows Scarlet Witch is one of my favorite characters. This book's been a lot of fun, and it's building up to something really cool. So grab the Black Cat pack for what is the first trade paperback. Catch up to the latest issue because that's good X-Men fun. Avengers number 11. Everybody knows I'm a huge Avengers fan. This is your last issue until the big renumbering. I think they're going to start with number 672. Can't say enough about this title, written by Mark Waid. It has these awesome Alex Ross covers. It hasn't been coming out every 2 weeks like most of the other books from the big 2. So it might have, again, fallen off your list, or it might be going under your radar, but you'll want to grab the other 10 issues of this series because it's been a lot of fun. And of course, with the next issue, everything will change. So grab some of those issues from that era while they're still around. U.S. Avengers is your other A-Team book of the week. Miss Marvel and Miss Marvel is your Generations book of the week. Another good-sized, self-contained one-shot story. All these Generations books have been fun. I would encourage you to pick them up, or at least grab the one with the characters of the books you're currently following, maybe Totally Awesome Hulk or the Wolverines or whatever have you, sort of your introduction to the classic character and or the new version. These are all rolling into Marvel Legacy number 1, which I think is next week. Invincible Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Luke Cage. Luke Cage is another really rock-solid book. Another thing that might be flying under everybody's radar, but if you're watching the Defender stuff, if you're any kind of fan of the Netflix stuff, pick up the recent issues of this title. Pick up the previous Cage title from Tartakovsky. Fun stuff. Totally Awesome Hulk starts a new arc after all the WMD stuff. I think this book really surprised some people. They weren't following it until the WMD, and then they picked up 21 and 22 and were like, hey, this is actually really cool. Again, if this is the first issue you're going to grab of this book, or if you just got into it from the WMD stuff, check out the Generations one of Banner Hulk and Totally Awesome Hulk, because they're doing a lot with that title. All new Guardians of the Galaxy, Royals, and Monsters Unleashed complete the list of Marvel titles for the week. Like I always say, it's a big week for those guys. Great week for everybody else too. Black Hammer is your Dark Horse book of the week. Just wanted to emphasize that they do things besides the Mike Mignola stuff, besides the Joss Whedon stuff, besides a lot of their licensed property stuff. Dark Horse has a lot of creator-owned titles that are really rock solid. You might know Jeff Lemire from all kinds of other things. Black Hammer is his take on a lot of the classic superhero tropes, so check that out. It's a little different, really cool stuff. Invincible from Robert Kirkman, the guy who does Walking Dead. This is his long-time running superhero title, dubbed the greatest superhero title in the universe or something like that. But it's been a lot of fun, and it rocks, it rolls. If you don't know what Invincible is, I really encourage you to check out the first trade paperback. It will suck you in and make you read the whole entire series. It's really, really solid. One of the better Image books of a long time. Gasolina and Angelic are your two first issue gotta have it Image books of the week, because you guys are always clamoring for those Image first issues, and I'm always encouraging you to grab them before they're gone. Better to try it and decide you didn't like it than hear about it, decide you want it, and you can't find one. Magnus is my Dynamite book of the week because I love all those old Gold Key characters. This one is, of course, a new take on a classic character, which I always enjoy if they can pull it off. Great stories, great art, like a lot of the Dynamite stuff, like James Bond. One of the better licensed property things in comics. They've been doing a great job with this James Bond stuff, so if you're a fan of the character, you should be checking them out, or if you just like, you know, crime noir action books, that's good stuff. Samurai Jack is my IDW book of the week because I love me some Samurai Jack. The last version of the show was really excellent. The comic is always excellent. IDW does a great job with this stuff. IDW does a great job with a lot of things, like their Star Trek line. This is your latest issue of Boldly Go. The Star Trek fans are really into all this Star Wars or Star Trek stuff. So if you're a Trek fan or a sci-fi fan, pick up the first issue or the latest issue, see what's up with all of that. Big Trouble in Little China is my Boom Studios book of the week because of that guy on the cover right there. Super awesome. Go Go Power Rangers is your Boom Studios book of the week, because this 90s stuff is just huge and you guys can't seem to get enough of the Power Rangers. Secret Weapons is your Valiant book of the week. Always encouraging you guys to have a Valiant book on your list because they do an awesome job with all of their stuff, like this one, Bloodshot, Exo Manowar, etc., etc., etc. Great week for the all ages stuff too. Mighty Mouse is back in comics. Mighty Mouse is one of my all-time favorite things. Great cartoon, long history of great comics from different eras. Now he's back in the modern era. This book is really exciting, really a lot of fun. It's what I call a true all-ages book, which means it's fun for kids, it's fun for the grown-ups, it's fun for the ancient people like me. Everybody digs some Mighty Mouse. Grab the first issue, catch up to the latest one. Lots and lots of fun there. Star Wars Adventures. I told you I had more Star Wars to talk about. This one's from IDW. Most of the other Star Wars stuff comes from Marvel. For some reason, this all ages one is rolling out from IDW. It's going to be a series that kind of goes all over from the different movies and all across the timeline, just with some cool stories. They've opened with a cool Rey story. So again, if you're any kind of Star Wars fan, this is a great, great week to pick up some awesome comics. And The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's your last all-ages book of the week, because here at Black Cat Comics it's never too early to start talking about Halloween, because we do an awesome Halloween event every single year, just like the Treehouse of Horror episode is an awesome Halloween event every single year. Always saying that Bongo does a great job with their stuff. Comics are just as awesome as the show. Make sure you pick up that one. And speaking of events, like our Black Cat Comics event, I want to make sure that you know that this Saturday is our big Harley Quinn Day event. Every year the DC Comics does Batman Day. This year is the 25th anniversary of the Joker's sinister sidekick. So they've given her Batman Day, and so it's Harley Quinn Day this Saturday. We're going to have a huge Harley sale. Everything with her picture on it's going to be 15% off. We got all kinds of cool stuff from comics and Black Cat packs and all sorts of merchandise. So if you're a Harley fan, if you're a Batman fan, make sure you get down here this Saturday. Take advantage of the sale, get some free stuff, have lots of fun. That's all we got for you for this week. You can check us out at blackcatcomics.biz. Check out our cool Facebook page. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out our podcast at soundcloud.com. Or just get on down here to Rock and Milpitas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.